Welcome to Trading Lounge and the commodities report. We're going to start with Bitcoin and then the dollar bonds and yields and precious metals, base metals, energy. This is a weekly chart for Bitcoin dominance, and we can see that from the low here we have wave 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 3, 4, 5. So basically here we are seeing an impulse wave for Bitcoin being dominant over the other all the other coins. So that means that we'll have some sort of ABC correction here in due course, and then we'll see it push up. So Bitcoin is going to remain the dominant crypto for quite some time, as I'd imagine. So that's important if you were sort of looking at markets that are ranging and so forth. Okay, so that's that. And with Bitcoin here, this is the daily chart for BTC on Bitstamp, and there's a couple of ways of looking at all of this. If I looked at the market with wave 3 and 4 here, then we can look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for the third wave up, for the fifth here, which would make a larger third wave. This particular move up through here, this is on the daily chart, of course, that means that because it's kind of in tune with the Nasdaq a little bit, this is the Nasdaq on the weekly chart here. So this wave 4 here going up to wave 5 of 3 and 4 and 5 of 1, that's the basic pattern that the primary pattern that we're working with at the moment. So this intermediate wave 4 here is this intermediate wave 4 here on that basis. Now there's a couple of questions that we need to sort of resolve here. At first sight, this wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here looks quite nice, but there is the case for having all of this 5-wave structure here, all of this, let me just redo that, all of this here, this 5-wave structure. It's also possible to have this as just wave 1 and 2, 3, 4, and can I get that up there? Doesn't want to go up there, but so that means that this becomes wave 2 here, and this becomes wave 1 here. So there's that case, because this is the story that we're also looking at with the Nasdaq in terms of 1 and 2 here. Now I also want to talk about this wave 4 here. It's probably the case, this wave 4 here, but at the same time, if we take a look at this also a daily chart for Bitcoin. So instead of looking at it as 3 and 4, looking at it as 1 and 2 here. And the reason for that, and the reason I'm keeping this count on the charts here, is that it's a bit different from the Nasdaq, but it's still the same as that these lows here, before October, November, that's when the Nasdaq also was down here before, October, November here, such and such here. So, any market that's on those lows there would be part of this trend in this way. So we can look at this one here as all the way up for wave 1 and 2 here, and then looking at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here. It's a bit of a long shot, but there's good reason for that, because this particular trend here is a little bit shorter than this one. So to look at this as 1, 2, and 3 here, and then 4, and then 5, it means that this trend here needs to be shorter, shorter than this one. So, so this is why I'm thinking that. Just speaking out loud here a little bit, just thinking out loud rather, this particular move here that we're looking up here as 1 and 2, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 is really tying into the Nasdaq and the S&P, but we're not looking at this as 5 waves up. We're looking at it as wave 1 here. So we'll come back for wave 2 and then have wave 3, 4 and 5 up here. That's how I'm sort of looking at it. So it does present a sort of a different case once again for this. And we also have to understand too that the Bitcoin supply from 900 to 400 and 50 is really, you know, it was expected to take a little bit of time to sink in, and you know, and play out as a supply shortage, you know. And I think we're kind of seeing that at the same at this point. But at the same time, too, markets are emotional, and it's basically duplicating tech stocks at the same time as well. That's why the Nasdaq fits into it. So there's a little bit to go on to here in terms of the trading levels here. We as I've always said, we're a medium level here, 65. We don't need those on here, so labels, get rid of that, put that there. So this is a medium level here, halfway between two major levels. So the next level up here between 65 and the next major level here is 72 in here, which I think is probably around this top here. But in a nutshell, we should be taking this top out here because this is a corrective pattern. So we'll see a dance around the 80 area over here for this to play out here. But yeah, definitely still a trend to the upside. When we look at this, let me just get my Bitcoin chart here for a moment. This is okay, so this is picking it up on that wave 4 low there. So just this wave, putting this wave 4 here low here, is just picking it up from that point on the intraday basis on another charting program. Let me just get that here, which is here. Here, so we're looking at this as wave 1 and 2 here at the moment, but and then wave 2 and going up for wave 3 and 4 and wave 5 up here. But this particular move here, you know, we're looking at this on the Nasdaq as copying this one here and putting wave 1 up here. So this becomes a little bit more sort of interesting at this point in looking at this as wave 2 over here and putting this wave 5 further up there with me. So it's a possible, just, you know, I like to think outside the box, and once I've can kind of, you know, tracking a couple of counts, and once I can see this particular count unfolding in other markets as well, then I can box it up and put a ribbon around it and post it off. But yeah, so anyway, this particular count here as a little 1 and 2 here, then 1 2 3 4 5 for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. Now that's the 72 here, so not quite 72. There we go. So you can it's a great number to understand, but yeah, I mean, in terms of small levels, we look at 65, 72 and 80 as part of a group 2 area. There's a lot of other important numbers in here as well, of course, but this will just play out here now in terms of 3, 4 and 5 up here for this, give or take. So so that is that's Bitcoin. We should just have a quick look at Ether as well. So with Ether here, we're looking at much the same thing. So wave 3 here, and we counted all the way down, and we figured this was the low over here, and we had a bit of a push up for wave 1, which is good. Wave 2 was really big compared to wave 1, so I was kind of like, oh shite, what's going on here? You know, I've got it wrong again. And but it sort of held in there a little bit, and then sort of pushed off, and then, you know, got back above the major level here, and you know, we like to buy new highs above here and here, or maybe even here. We talked about it, but the thing is that we've got that same as Bitcoin as 1 and 2 here, and just sort of pushing up here to this wave 3 4. So expect to see a bit of a dance around the 4,000. And in this area here, we can see that we'll get some type of what I call a classic trading levels pattern here. I don't think this is wave 5 here, by the way, but so in a nutshell, we'll be getting this particular pattern here, and this is sort of where we are at the moment. We need this, this, and this, and then we can move back on over here across the 4,000 at that point there. Also, too, a little Bitcoin prediction game here is sort of well underway, and so So yeah, look, basically this is our first month, so it's just 1,000,000 satoshis we're putting up in a year subscription here. It's a bit late to play now because it's after the 20th of each month it stops. So at the beginning of the month you can change your price as much as you want up until this particular price, this particular date, GMT time. At the end of that you can't update your price here after that. So all these prices now are locked in, so there's nothing, so it's, you know, a good 10 days of whatever happens at this particular point with this. So the next game will start at the beginning of next month, and hopefully we might sort of put that up to 2 million. And I have talked to one company that is looking at it and might come in and chuck a bit of money on the table. That would be nice. I don't want just any company to play a part in this, of course. So that's the Bitcoin side of things and the ETH side. So the other tokens will sort of tag along in their own way. Okay, so now we need to come over to the dollar, the dollar bonds and yields. So I want to have a look at the dollar in two ways. We can look at it in a way like this, where we have, this is a daily chart, we have wave A here and B here and the C wave up here, and this would be wave 1 and 2 here. I suppose, you know, there are cases where we could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4 here and 5 going up. We could do that. That's quite possible, but it would be more likely that this here would be something like this here. I need to drop that down a degree of structure here for that. And this may or may not be true. We're going to talk about this in a moment. So we'll have a little wave 3, 4, and 5 up here for the third wave, the fourth wave, and the fifth wave over here, and yada yada yada. So probably not that high and all the rest of it, but so big and cumbersome, these little numbers. So, you know, it can be like that. But basically, in a nutshell, the way I see it is that this count is doable, but I don't think it's it. If this gets taken out here, that low there, then we're in bearish mode at that point. So we need to re-look at this in this way. So that means that we look at the move down here as the A wave and ABC for the B wave, down for 1, back for 2, down for 3, 4, 5. So this is really what other FX pairs are sort of displaying at the moment, you know, depending on what side of the dollar your pair is on, your currency. But the thing here is that I can look at the yields here, for example. So if I go to the yields here, so in the dollar here, I've only got 3 waves down. If I go to the yields over here, take a closer look here, I've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I've got 5 waves down here for the 10-year yields here, you know. The short end of the curve probably running a bit quicker and all the rest of it. But an ABC over here for this, and then down again. So we've got 5 waves here. So the dollar should be on this pathway. And then when I look at the bonds here that should be doing the opposite, I've also got a little tiny 5 wave structure in there as well. I'll just see if I can just get it on this charting program. So this charting program here with the A and the B down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we tracked that little 5 wave structure up here, there might be another little high, and I might need to move that over there or something or other. But the bottom line is that it does appear that we're getting 5 waves up here. So that's a good case for having the dollar back, you know, coming back down here. So this little picture here of this little move here, right? This is, if we take a look at that in detail on this particular charting program, this is the move here. So from the top, we've got it down. I could have it as the A wave, the B wave here, and the C wave here. And then we'd move up from that point. Now we counted little 5 waves up here, so it's possible we can get another little move up from there, as we mentioned yesterday, and it could just continue to build up from that point too, you know. That's the other thing. So we'll just see, it could continue to build up there, we don't know, but that would be the ABC pattern as wave 2. So this blue wave here would be down for 1, back for 2 here, down for 1 here, back for 2 over here. So we really need this breached at this point, you know. So I mean, I'd like to see it under the 300 because there is a case to have this as 1, and you know, that little, if that little spike wasn't there, I could put that there, and then this would be a wave 4 over here on this case. So there's a couple of little. So basically, the yields are telling me that we're going to go down further, and the bonds are going to go up today, heading up. So that's telling me that the dollar should be going down, but I want to be able to confirm it with the dollar, and I cannot confirm it with the dollar just yet. There is a bond market today, so I know everybody's focused on the video, but the bond market in the background is, I think, more important at this stage, and because you know, I mean, it sort of anyway. So yeah, I can't confirm the dollar. That's the bottom line with everything at the moment on all of these markets. So we'll just see. But like I mentioned, the yields here have got a good case for having the first impulse wave down, a little ABC pattern here. So if this is going to push up here for wave 2 here, that means that the dollar's going to be pushing up, or at least traveling sideways and staying off that low for a little while. So we're not going to know for, you know, and everything takes longer than we think it does. So it's going to be, you know, it's going to take more time than we think at this point. Okay, so we want to go over and have a look at gold. So with gold, this is the monthly chart for US spot gold. So it's going back a little way. We can certainly go back a bit further here, which I think is always sort of interesting because, you know, so this comes back into not to the 30s, you know, but to the main area here, you know, the Nixon days, so to speak. Yeah, so I mean, I just see this market as being bullish, you know, as 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here, you know, and 1 and 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then from wave 4 here going up to wave 5 here, and commodities can extend in the 5th wave. It's quite sort of common. But that would just give me this wave 1 up here and then back for wave 2 again. So we're still, you know, I mean, you know, we're still, it's still, you know, got a lot to move higher at this, you know, generally speaking, in the bigger picture of everything. So yeah, so basically this is where we are at the moment. We're seeing this nice, well, this wave 2 here and wave 2 in here. So we're seeing we're in the 3rd wave, and we're in the 3rd wave here. So we're in the 3rd of the 3rd, pushing up here from 2000 to 2500 here. So you can see that we've got more up here, but the thing is that moving up here, we start to move into these wave 4s up here eventually, and that's where it sort of slows down a little bit, you know. So it's going to be a little bit time consuming around the, you know, around these sorts of areas, because we're moving from 1s and 2s into 4s and 5s here. So anyway, it's just kind of good to know that. So it's okay to be in leverage here, but I don't think being in leverage once we cross over to here would be that good. And I also see stocks traveling faster than the spot market as well. So that's that. Let's just go into the, and this wave 1 here can be counted differently. There can be a 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 in here. It's a little bit sort of tricky in here. So yeah, you see how I've got this little 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 in here. So it could be counted 2 ways. I thought that I would resolve that a little bit further up the food chain here. But as far as the crow flies, we've got 1 and 2 here, and we could call this 1 and 2 here, and we're sort of moving up at this point. And yeah, so at the 2500 here, we can just expect to get a pattern like this. We'll bang our heads against that number, profit taking and stops being taken out, and yada yada yada, and then a push up, and then a rest, and come back, and, you know, migrating from being resistance to support over here for that. So that will just take time to get through all of that. And then if we go into the daily chart, here. So in this case, I got this just quite simple here. I've just got it as wave 1 and 2 here. Okay, but I can see the different ways, so I just have to point it out here that, you know, if you've got a different count, doesn't mean that you're wrong. I mean, in terms of using Elliott Wave, we've all been wrong so many times. You know, it really comes down to the trade setup, and that's why I created the the trading levels here, because you can see when it's like I would never buy before a level here. I never do that. Do you know what I mean? I get out here and then I wait for it to become support, and it took a long time to become support over here. And yeah, sure, you can get other little places if you're lucky, and you know things are on your side and stuff, but basically when it's sitting over here, you can see that it's actually the support. So all you need to do is put a long trade up here, here, and here until you get, and down to here until you get clicked in. It's that simple, you know, the trade setup. So yeah, so it doesn't matter about being wrong or right. You just need to be right in the trade setup. That's all, you know. And this is what we'll look for over here. So this is, you know, gold pushing up and making headlines and yada yada yada, and you know, it gets a lot of, you know, novice traders in, and they all get sort of sucked in and they buy at the top of the trend and all the rest of it. But if you've weathered a few storms, then and you understand the trading levels a little bit, or at least the price, then you know that coming into a big number is not the time to buy, it's the time to sell. So this is where we are here. So if I pick it up from this wave 4 on my other charting program, if I've updated it, let me check spot gold. Okay, so this wave 4 here. So basically what we've been saying for a while now is that this is corrective and we'll be pushing up and making, you know, new highs above here. So we talked about being long, and we've moved the stop around a little bit, and we've got this here as blue 1, blue 2. So we've got green 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up here for this. So we've got a bit, this is corrective here. So wave 4s can get big and ugly, but it's kind of ugly enough at the moment, so we could probably push up into wave 5 here, and then have this wave 4, and then we'll have this wave 4. And so basically, you know, look, this could come down here and be a little bit difficult as some sort of, I haven't checked it out, could be an A wave here, an ABC for the B wave, and down for the C wave. I don't know, but eventually it'll be like this, you know. This is what it'll be like, something like this. So, you know, how you get through all that is you know, don't go pushing any buttons, you know. And when you get to the 2.5, it's just best to take some money off the table, you know, that simple. Let's just have a look at silver, because that was that moved along quite nicely, hasn't it? So once again, this is wave 3 here and wave 4, just like we had a look at with gold. And this was a little bit easier because we had this extra wave in here. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can basically bend them back into each other again at this point, you know. So I think that's got to go over here. That's interesting. Anyway, you can have a look at I'll just put these in here. I might just check somebody's count on this. Commodities, commodities, commodities. Silver. Okay, got much the same count, yeah. So that's all good. Yeah, I'm not sure how this is sort of playing out here, but still need to be up here somewhere. Still need to be over here, here, here. Next level up here is, what's after 3 is 5. Actually, in fact 34 is really important as well, because when you got the Fibonacci numbers, you know, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34. So 34 can play a good part here. So I'm just going to leave that there. But 5 and then 8, of course. So that will be sort of the pathway here for all of this. was just thinking of Bear Stearns, who had the biggest short position. I think who took Bear Stearns over, was that Morgan's? Did they take all those short positions on? I wonder if they've unravelled them all. Probably. Anyway, they'll be getting the squeeze if not. So that's that. So we're going to have a look at commodities now. Now, one of the interesting things with the commodities is that this is China here. So we've looked at this many times before. This is just the comp here. So we've had this as wave 3 up here with the A, the B, the C, the D, and the E over here. You could count this, by the way, as down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, A, B, C for 2, and down for 1 and back for 2, that type of thing, and coming down here further. But the volume's not suggesting that to me. And so also you'll see the other Asian markets around this here, like the Hang Seng and all the rest of it, they'll be all pushing up from this particular point here as well. Now, you know, when we called in the low here, we wanted to see how this was going to travel to the upside. And one of the big things is, would it find support on the major level 3 here? You know, I'm just going to go to the daily chart here, because, you know, in a way it's you know, in a way this is going to be positive for everybody. So we watched this move up here, and it had like the impulse wave here, and then it sat on top of the 3 here, and then we thought, not that we go long in here, but that was the long trade at this point. But the thing is that this is we're seeing China's being, even though it's got a lot of bad news, the money is showing me that, well, something's going on, something's positive over there. And then we can see that, you know, quietly we can see all of the commodities. I think when I say all, I have to be careful about that, but you know what I mean, most are lifting up very nicely, and some are traveling up very nicely indeed, you know, and you'll see like copper's traveling very nicely, so you start to see BHP traveling nicely, and you know, you see all the leading stocks do all their thing. So it's a good time, I think, for commodity stocks at the moment. I haven't got time to look at those. It would be nice to do that. But anyway, this is just sort of one of the driving factors here. And also, if the dollar goes down as well, then, you know, the commodity prices are going to rebalance as well, which will obviously push things to the upside. So with copper here, this is high grade copper. We're looking at well, we've got wave 1 here and 2 here, and we're looking all the way up for wave 3 and 4 and 5 here. So we're going to see a dance across the 50. We've talked about that before. This is just the daily chart. I'm not going to go into the intraday. This can also have another little high over here. I should actually have a look at my... I won't go into it because I'm just sort of rabbiting on too much, so I won't have a look at... kind of tempted to look at that, but wanted to have a look at the United States fund for that. Doesn't matter too much. I can't see the chart straight up. So anyway, good. They're very good, of course, but you know, we've been tracking up, but we'll end up going sideways across because 5 is the second strongest number, 1, 5, and then 8. So I'll put that there, and then we can look at uranium here as well. So looking good for uranium here as well. This is a weekly chart. We've got some long positions in here. We've got an impulse wave over here. It can be viewed as wave A here, and then a wave B over here, and a wave C over here, and that's the end of it. We can come down from that point. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is wave 1 here, ABC for wave 2, wave 1 and 2, and all up here as 1 and 2, and continue to move. In the short term, we're going to continue to move up through here. So this is also, there's 2 classic trading levels patterns going on here actually. There's 3 actually, but there's one in here, this is one here, So the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC over here. And then when you look at it over here, this is the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, because this is normally in 5 waves here as well. Just showing the bigger picture. So this is the arrival, the reaction, 5 waves in this move here, and then the correction at that point. So in a way, it's still playing out across this number over here for this, but this is a ETF, and we've got long positions in here, and we can afford to hold those because of no overnight financing costs in those, so that's all cool. And then we're also looking at nickel as well. So nickel off the low here, it does look rather positive, but I don't have a complete set of impulse waves here at this point, and we won't be doing an entry up here. We'll be back here when we get it, but and we had a trade in here and got out here, but wave 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and a little third wave here. This could be counted also as 1, 2, 3, 4 here and 5 up here. So I'm not going to chase this up here because, you know, it will go higher. It will go higher, but I'm not going to chase it. I have to wait for it to come back. Otherwise we'll get stuck in it, and we don't want to do that. But yeah, nickel is looking really good. BHP is very big in nickel in Australia, so that will also help BHP. In fact, BHP's got a bit of a move like this. The BHP, if not so, a bit hard to see on the ASX BHP, but if you look at the ADR on the New York desk, you'll see it. It's already got wave 1 and 2, and it's going up for the top of wave 3. It needs 4 and it needs 5, and we're going to catch it on the way back as an ABC. We'll get it over here, and then we'll push up. That's on the ADR for BHP. I do want to. I still can't find my lithium chart, but I don't particularly need to look at that anyway, because it's the ETF's just kind of got a whole lot of messy stuff in it, really. So we're better off having a look at this one here. So we've been talking about this a little bit. Just wanted to keep an eye on it. I'm just going to move this. It's a bit messy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's still not there at the top of the third yet. We'll need the fourth, and then we'll need the fifth. Move that over to here. That will be there. Move that out of the way. So it's looking really good. Looks like we may get this impulse wave here, which is fantastic, you know. So what we'll do on the buy, we'll just wait after the 5 wave comes in here. Then it'll pull back, and then we can get into it, you know, and then that way we've got the 5 waves to verify that we're in the right direction, you know. And if it's a total sort of bollocks thing, then it'll still be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave to the upside. So we'll be okay. We can look after our position in the C wave here, but yeah. But I have to say it's looking pretty good, and because of everything else sort of moving up, then I think we're pretty much on the right track here. That will be in there a bit tighter, and that wave 5 will probably take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then that will be here, and that will be here. So it'll be, yeah, we'll hit the $20, and then we'll kick back at that point. So that's looking good. This is just GDX here, so it's a gold one, but it should look at about 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So up here, so we'll have a 1 and 2 to come back for GDX. I don't know how far it's going to pull back, so don't pay any attention to that too much. But you know, we've got to expect something to come into play here. The other way that this could be counted, I won't go there yet, but it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. But I don't think we need to go there yet. But I'll see how this travels here. But like I said, the extension in wave 5 is quite common in commodities rather than wave 3 in stocks. So that's that. Need to have a look at energy now. So with the energy, I've been looking at ExxonMobil here because it's got a very nice 1, 2, 3, like a nice wave 4 here. It has pulled back to the 38.2% retrace. I'll just take it from there to the top there. So basically it's pulled back to the 38.2% here. So it shouldn't need to come any lower at this point, but at the same time, Um, yeah, just looking at this, I mean, this makes a really nice A wave, B wave, and C wave here with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So this can be an ABC pattern here, and it can at this point come on down here for this. That's what it can do. So it makes this wave 4 much more complicated, but like I said, the 38.2% is already here, so, and it's covered its gaps and those sort of things, so there's no real sort of reason here. So I'm going to stay with the idea that we're still going to be pushing to the upside here. Now it's probably because normally I'd see wave 3 coming around the top here, but it's looking a bit short on that note, so might have to wingle this around a little bit more and put, I mean, I like wave 1 and 2 here, it's quite good, but yeah, I find this a little bit, yeah, and I think this needs to kind of go up here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, all I'm trying to say is that I might need to put wave 1 and 2 over here, so might need to put this over here and this here and wave 5 here and 3 here and 4 here and look at it that way, look at it pushing up a bit further at this point, you know. I just don't, I'm not quite sure yet, you know. I mean, obviously I know that the 120 within minor group 1 is, you know, the supply level, and, you know, we knew that we'd be pushing back at that point. The technicals are kind of, you know, loaded, you know, are getting a bit overstretched, so we should see it push up at this point. But I was thinking that that we would push up from here, and if we were going to push up from here, then we would see US spot gold move up from that point. So US crude rather, a bit long in the day. So all of this move down here I was considering to be wave 4 with wave 1 and 2 here. But once again, it's, you know, and you know, I mean, it's got a wobbly old 5 waves up here. I grant that, and I don't, you know, if this had the first high above the level here, then I'd say we can go long at that point once we get that. But will we get it, or have I made a total mistake and we come down here further? I don't know, but let's just see how it plays out. If it gets on here, we can look for a long trade above the high, but otherwise, and I think that would be the case. But I mean, I've got the XLE, the ETF. In the bigger picture, it's quite bullish, but I mean, you could squeeze 5 waves out of all of this as a 3rd wave, 4th wave, and 5th wave, but even so, we'd still need to see some sort of move to the upside here. And this spike doesn't really make it sort of a one-day spike, basically making, you know, changing the wave count here, which sort of bothers me a little bit as well. Anyway, so I'm not quite sure about that. And then we've been looking at, let me come back to the commodity section here, and we'll go into gas. So we've been looking at natural gas pushing up here. So what I've been doing here is on the 15-minute chart, I think it was, just keeping an eye on this count to the upside. Obviously not this one. This one. Okay, so from the low here, that's the low, I've got this as wave 1 and 2, but as I mentioned before, we could put wave 1 and 2 over here and have another wave 1 and 2 here, but it's splitting hairs. It's possible, but I don't know because I can't see on the gap here. Or maybe you need to check other markets and see how they traded up. But apart from that, we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 in here. And then we've got all of this little 3rd wave in here, 3rd, 4th, and 5th of this 3rd. So yesterday we're looking for a move down. So we've kind of got that. I'll just sort of fold that into there and maybe fold that into there just to get rid of it for the moment. So this is the wave. Put this in here now that that's kind of got there. Sure what that's there for, but put wave 5 there. So this wave 4 can pull back to this wave 4, so that's doing a good job, and then we'll go up here. So basically we've been working this up here, and it still needs to go up here further. And there's a couple of ways that all of this could be counted. I think some of these count here on gas here as well. We're working on Indian stocks quite strongly now, so we've got 2 analysts working on that now. So I've added another one to the team. Where are we here? Gas, natural gas. Sorry, been a long morning. So this chart here, I think, is quite sort of interesting to view. So looking at this as 1 and 2, and just then we were counting 5 waves up, and we still got further to go up here. So this is a possibility where we have the A, the B wave, and the C wave up into this space. Not that it matters right now. In both cases, you know, even if this was impulsive off the low there, because there's a good case for that too. That's the other case of having a low in place, and looking for higher ground on this. So we'll see. Anyway, it's just an interesting count of an A and a B and a C over here, but we still need to go higher. Okay, so that's such a long video. Sorry about that, but we covered a bit of ground, and that's all good. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.